The exercise, which started early Saturday morning and ended in the early hours of Sunday, left thousands of people, mostly traders, business operators and headquarters, stranded. Makeshift structures, mechanic shops, mosques, places of convenience and offices of some political parties in the once vibrant slum were not spared. At the time of our visit, whereas some residents were busily searching through the rubble to salvage their property, others were carting their belongings for safekeeping with friends. Anas Ibrahim, a scrap dealer, has lived in this slum for close to 10 years. He says with the demolition of the slum, his entire livelihood has been destroyed.
We get so many things we are selling here. Our properties here, it is here. Now they come and destroy. They must to tell us that, oh, you people should find a way to live. If you hear now, you sleep. See the food you have. See. If you say Gali where we go chop. My money, my everything. My room, my television, everything.
Abu also had a similar story.
Everything, they destroy everything for us. They don't have any place to go again. No money to go to Tamale again. And we don't have any place to go.
For now, their only source of refuge is the streets. They are therefore appealing to government to find an alternative place of abode for them. The occupation of the land and activities of the illegal settlers have mostly interfered with the progress of the restoration of the Odo River project, which has stalled for years.
So that exercise took place on Saturday, or that's over the weekend, and the people there who were displaced this morning marched up at the State House, and they are demanding to speak with President John Dramani Mahama. So just to give you a brief idea of how it has started and how it unfolded, homeless residents at Old Fadama here in Accra, whose houses were demolished on Saturday, have occupied the State House demanding to see President Mahama. The protesters, numbering about 3,000, earlier took to the streets, blocking some of the major roads in Accra, particularly the ceremonial road around the National Theatre, before making their way to the State House. It is still not clear what their intentions are. Now, there were few policemen on the scene, but it appeared that they were totally overwhelmed and had to call for reinforcement, which came with riot control equipment, including tear gas, which they fired at some point. But that did not stop the demonstrators from getting to their destination. Our reporter, Kwabna Edujemfi, was there and followed some of the residents who have been displaced from the Agbogbloshie area or the Old Fadama area. They are saying that we should not call the place Sodom and Gomorrah because it is actually on record to be a place known as Old Fadama. So these are pictures from the scene. The report started coming in this morning that they were unhappy with the issue of the demolition that took place over the weekend. I also have their statements that they want to present to the president here, and I'll be reading bits and pieces of it. They are calling the demolition as an illegal exercise, and that it is also particularly so considering the fact that the demolition exercise is not just illegal but also carried out in an inhuman way. This has once again demonstrated the rather incompetent nature and lack of leadership skills by the so-called CEO of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Alfred Oko Vanderpoy. This is considering the nature and timing of the demolition exercise. And they go on to say that on Saturday, during the demolition exercise, before we could say Jack, the rains started pouring in, rendering over 10,000 people homeless, hopeless and dejected at the mercy of the unconventional weather. Are these the people who pretend to have our interests at heart? They question. It also goes, the statement further says that, secondly, it is a popular knowledge that over 80% of these inhabitants are Muslims. Couldn't we have waited after the Ramadan festival? These are a number of questions they are asking. Is this the supposed period the president, the commander-in-chief, that is President John Dramani Mahama, wants us to purely and wholeheartedly pray for the ailing, sinking economy? Those are some of the questions they raised with relation to their demonstration. And the demonstration stemmed from the demolition exercise that took place over the weekend. And the security that came over to ensure that there is some sanity with regards to the demonstration spoke to TV3. Let's listen to what exactly they had to say.
What we are doing is just to ensure what is humanly possible to bring the tension down. Once you are calmed down, you could give us a listening ear so we can tell you something. But in this heat and in this desperation, I think that they will not listen to anything. We are trying our best. We've called for reinforcements and they are on their way coming. For now, what we have is helping us, but we need more. And those coming are bringing it. Okay. We need shields. We need other gadgets. We need a water cannon to quench those fires.
Firing tear gas, is it necessary at this point in time?
Because of the desperation, it is not being fired at them just to clear them so that if the water cannons are in, the fire can be quenched. That is all the reason.
So that is one of the platoon leaders of the police officers who gathered near the State House to ensure that they are able to bring some sanity to that demonstration. And it's interesting how some of the demonstrators were behind her when she was speaking with TV3. It means that at least some sanity is coming and they are able to bring tempers down or calm tempers. And as we are told, they are waiting for reinforcement, and we are hoping that they can ensure that at least both sides are able to come to a compromise so things don't get out of hand. The leader of the demonstration, or the what they are calling the concerned residents of the evicted Old Fadama, also spoke to TV3. So let's hear what exactly the leadership of the demonstrators also have to say.
We felt it was not just illegal, but it was carried out in a very inhumane manner. The timing of the eviction and evacuation is not just the right timing, because by nature we are all aware that between the periods of June and July the rains are scheduled to take place. On Saturday, when the demolition exercise was taking place, before you could say jack, the rain has started pouring in, rendering the already homeless people hopeless and then dejected. So we felt that the CEO of the AMA didn't do his work very well, especially taking into consideration with all these facts. We are also aware that 80% of the people within this community are Muslims, and we are in the period of festival, a Ramadan festival. And we would have thought that at least if there was supposed to be a demolition exercise of this nature, we could have waited after the Ramadan festival. We are also aware that 80% of the people who write the BEC within the Alolo cluster of schools, Richard Akwe Memorial, and the surrounding schools are from the Old Fadama community. And as you are all aware, the cancellation has already put them in a traumatized state. This demolition has put them in a more hopeless situation, and we would have wished that the thing was carried out at a time that would have been convenient for all of us. And besides, the agreement he came into with our leaders is not what they've done. He agreed with our leaders that he just wanted 50 years away from the Kole Lagoon. Today, as you can see, this is more than 300 years from the Kole Lagoon, which is a clear violation of the terms he came into with our leaders.
We stay with this particular issue. Now we go to the State House, where a number of the demonstrators gathered earlier today, and they are demanding that they have to see President John Dramani Mahama, first of all because he is a Northerner, and 80% of the residents of Old Fadama are also Northerners, so he should find a way of sympathizing with them rather than allowing security officers to bulldoze their way through and getting rid of them from Old Fadama. So let's go straight there and see what exactly has been happening at the State House, where they've been gathering for close to about an hour.
The demonstrators invaded Parliament early Monday morning, ostensibly to present a petition to members of the House. Unknown to the group, the House does not sit on Mondays. Frustrated at the turn of events, they engaged the media.
Yes, my Omen any gun and penny yes, Rom say, so more be Yamamwe, Omupianda Yaman, and about.
We went to mosque and go and pray. When we came around 4 o'clock, and the Vanapa was scattered everything. No one take his ever clothes and dress. And somebody, all of us are making fasting. No one, I want no less than only 30 people break their fasting. Why?
COP John Akufo Dampare spoke to the media.
More importantly, we decided not to effect any arrest today, even though what they did was in breach of the law. But any attempt to do anything in addition to anything different from what the advice that we have given them, we will have no choice but to ensure that we will take the necessary security action against them.